4:30. I want to talk about it now with one of the lawmakers who will be part of the proceedings in the history being made tomorrow, California Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu, member of the House Foreign Affairs and Judiciary Committees. Congressman, thanks for being with us. Just in terms of the approach tomorrow by Democrats, can you give a sense of how planned it is? Is there a coordinated effort from the top down where every Democrat has a certain part that they are focusing on? What can you say?
Thank you, Anderson, for your question. We're going to let the witnesses speak for themselves. In this case, Ambassador Bill Taylor was handpicked by the Trump administration to go to Ukraine to fix things up. And the American people are going to hear him talk about the president's abuse of power and how the president did this whole pressure campaign to try to bribe the Ukrainians to launch 2 bogus investigations into the DNC server, as well as Biden. And we're going to have 45 minutes of uninterrupted time for one side, and then it'll flip to the other side, and that gives a lot more time for the American people to get the story in big chunks.
So that 45-minute chunk, do you know, is it Adam Schiff going to be doing the questioning, or is he going to make a statement and then hand it off to an attorney who's going to be questioning?
So we'll hear opening statements, and under the rules that the House passed, either Adam Schiff or one of the staff attorneys can ask questions of Ambassador Bill Taylor as well as of Mr. Kent. I was at the witness deposition for Ambassador Bill Taylor, and in that deposition, both Congressman Schiff and staff attorneys asked questions, as well as the Republicans. And so you're going to have alternating 45-minute blocks, and then when that is done, then the members on the committee will get to ask 5-minute questions.
And you said there will be opening statements, or is that opening statements by both the ranking Republican and ranking Democrat, or by the witness themselves also?
It's my understanding you're going to get both will happen.
Okay. Both from the witness and the two.
That is correct.
Okay. The Republican central message tomorrow is essentially President Trump, may have done this, but his intentions were pure, and there really wasn't a conditionality in the phone call. When you hear that, what do you think?
The American people should watch the witnesses and decide for themselves, because the witnesses are going to contradict every single Republican talking point. It's very clear that this phone call Donald Trump had with the Ukrainian leader wasn't just a one-off phone call. It was an entire pressure campaign to get the Ukrainians to launch 2 bogus investigations to influence our election. And the president used the withholding of critical security aid, as well as dangling an important meeting with the White House, in order to bribe Ukrainians to engage in this election interference. That's what all these witnesses are going to say, not only this week, but also next week, where additional hearings have been announced.
How likely is it that, Republicans are going to, according to some, plan to push, debunk conspiracy theories that it was Ukraine who interfered in the 2016 election, not Russia, float unsupported claims about the Bidens? Is this basically just going to be kind of a tale of two different committee meetings that are happening at the same time? Democrats are going to ask questions, and then Republicans will focus on their theories?
Right. The difference is you're going to have career diplomats. You're going to have Trump's own people testifying against him. The American people are going to see that these are witnesses that cannot have their credibility questioned. Bill Taylor is a West Point graduate. He served in Vietnam with 101st Airborne. You have amazing witnesses that are going to be able to push back on all the Republican talking points. And by the way, it was just announced today that the Justice Department is looking at expanding its case against the 13 Russians that interfered in our elections. Those are Russians, they're not Ukrainians. And our entire intelligence community understands, and has said, it's the Russians that hacked us in 2016, not the Ukrainians.
And this new reporting from the New York Times that President Trump has considered firing the Intelligence Community Inspector General, who he actually appointed. If the president were to actually do that, is that something that could potentially become part of an overall impeachment inquiry?
Absolutely. Inspector General's job is to root out fraud, waste, and abuse of power. It is not to be loyal to the president. And again, this is Trump's own handpicked person that is now trying to tell the truth to the American people. And tomorrow, the American people are going to see a story come out, a narrative that is basically unchallenged, which the president solicited foreign interference in our campaigns, and he used all the levers of governmental power, as well as private attorney Rudy Giuliani, to extract these bogus investigations in exchange for giving hundreds of millions of dollars to Ukrainians in an important White House meeting.
Congressman Lieu, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Anderson.
Coming up next, more breaking news. That new reporting from the New York Times is Maggie Haberman